Bro, it is Vince Russo. And listen, bro, the Workers Club podcast, bro. It is Larry and Gus and Wilson doing all the work.
Okay, it's Workers Club 123. It's me, Wilson, it's Gus, it's Larry, and Larry has something that he wanted to say.
Oh shit, I hope I finish this. Hang on. Keep talking for like 2 minutes.
Okay, 2 minutes. Well, there's nothing much going on in the news. I will say, I'll say that later. I'll say that after Larry said his piece. Gus, do you have anything that you would like to say? Anything on your mind?
You know what? Tough loss yesterday. We hung in there. Saw some good reads, but Caleb's got some ways to go with his development, so we'll see how it comes along.
Thanks for calling in. That was Gus from Roseville. Wherever, I don't know what suburb you're from, but let's see.
No, the real Chicago Bears lost callers are so much better than. Oh my god!
I listened to sports talk radio for a long time. I still do sometimes. I can do my Cleveland guy.
It's a warm spot. I like it.
Does your Cleveland guy sound like this? Hi, Peter. There you go. That's a little joke for you. You know Cleveland from Family Guy?
Oh, I get it now. Now
Thank
that
you.
told me the joke.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Colin probably chuckled to himself. Yep. Okay, well, what else?
Have we had a Hogan autopsy yet? Let's go.
A judge filed a temporary restraining order. Bubba cannot have the sex tape footage for his documentary.
Okay.
That was about it. Mick Foley says he's feeling good these days. Vince Russo's unhappy with the booking of Paul Levesque.
You're still waiting for the big carrying cross reveal.
Was it last week that Meltzer said he's kind of going, oh geez, I mean if that guy if there was really no plan to bring him back and that wasn't a work, and I just can't imagine going about it that way, like oh no, rough for that guy. It's just like, yeah, pretty embarrassing to go in there at Helwani and be like, yeah, I don't know why they don't bring me back.
What do we got? Chicken protein?
No, it's just a juice box.
Yeah. I ate some Capri Suns last week.
Just a juice box. I'm being a good boy.
Got some cold jammers in the fridge.
God, I used to love Captain Morgan and Capri Sun. What a combo.
You ready?
Yes, Larry, he has something that he has to say. Have the floor.
Good evening. This afternoon, in this room, from this chair, I testified before the IWC and the Workers Club. I answered their questions truthfully, including questions about my wrestling fandom, questions no American citizen would ever want to answer. Still, I must take complete responsibility for all my actions, both public and private, and that is why I'm speaking to you tonight. As you know, I was asked questions about my fandom of Phil Brooks. While my answers were legally accurate, I did not volunteer information. Indeed, I was a fan of Phil Brooks, and that was not appropriate. In fact, it was wrong. It constituted a critical lapse in judgment and a personal failure on my part, for which I am solely and completely responsible. But I told the IWC today, and I say to you now, that at no time did I ask anyone to lie, to hide, or destroy any CM Punk merchandise, or to take any other unlawful action. I know that my public comments and my silence about this matter gave a false impression. I misled people, including even my wife. I deeply regret that. This has gone on too long, cost too much, and hurt too many innocent people. Now this matter is between me, the two people I love most, my wife and Wilson, and our God, Ed Don George. I must put it right, and I am prepared to do whatever it takes to do so. Even workers have private lives. It is time to stop the pursuit of personal destruction and the prying into private lives and get on with our national life. Now it is time, in fact, it's past time to move on. We have important work to do, real books to read, fake fighters to mock, and real rent needs to be paid. And so tonight, I ask you to turn away from the spectacle of the last 2 years, to repair the fabric of our wrestling discourse. And to return our attention to all the challenges and all the promises of the Workers' Club. Thank you.
Wow. As a completely neutral person and all things related to Phil Brooks, what brought this on? What happened?
It was eye-opening when the wife made a comment. I can't remember what it was now, and she doesn't either. But it was your words. It was an exact replica of things you say about Punk. And I'm like, ooh, if someone who knows nothing is thinking that, I value that. And then the wife stuff. That I just...
What? AJ Lee's back. AJ's back.
She is. She is back.
He even found the sign before she came back. It wasn't manufactured. It was it just happened. He found the sense to bring AJ back. He pointed to it. You know, she was. Don't you remember her as one of the greatest stars of her time?
You know what I don't like is, have you seen his new shirt?
No.
With the Bad Brains logo.
What a piece of shit.
Yeah, and I'm just trying to, like, with the guys in Bad
I
Brains.
was talking about a Gary Sinise post I just saw.
Oh. But I don't think the guys in Bad Brain would make the choices Phil has. That's all I'm saying.
Is Larry mentioned in the...
No, listen, pets are annoying. His pets are annoying. I love my pets. I don't even put them out there that much. But that's not a contributing factor. But it's a grand sum of transgressions.
When did so when your wife said, what did she say? So, like, Phil's a phony baloney.
Again, I don't remember, but it was something about his authenticity.
And now, did you shoot daggers at her and go, well, guess what? You're thinking about him. You're watching it. He's got you, whether you love him or you hate him, huh? You're talking about him.
No.
Okay.
In fact, her response started this way. I know wrestling's fake, but I'm like, oh, jeez, if you're still here.
This guy's taking the cake. He truly, I used to kind of roll my eyes when there's the old story about Paul Levesque and Shawn Michaels chortling at Gorilla about how he's simulating being a pro wrestler.
Yeah.
Sometimes I watch. Not, you know what didn't help? The first pitch clip. Not one athletic bone in that man's body.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
I mean, for the guy, guy that worships Bret Hart.
I usually, if I'm talking to a mutant who like respects wrestling too much, and they call them athletes, say they're as good as any professional athletes, I always bring up Jake Roberts as my example. Like, tell me what sport Jake Roberts could play.
Baseball,
lacrosse.
But I think Punk might have to be the new go-to. I mean, that guy can play an amateur sport.
I put Jake in right field.
He might have a swing.
I'm thinking of when he did that charity.
Middle relief.
You could do bowling. Didn't that thing that there's always that little clip of him saying nobody's paying attention to me when he's doing the charity bowling?
Jake?
No, CM Punk.
Oh, geez. Okay. Yeah, I don't know.
Deep
I don't
pull.
know. Boy, you know more about him than I do. I don't know.
I'm
be a
just familiar
QB.
with his memes. Well, I mean that's appreciated. Some would say that you could just worded that Wilson's always right, but we won't do that. But when you said you talk about your silence, oftentimes, and it can be noted that I will say something about Phil Brooks, and it was met with silence.
I know.
Also, just from Larry just wanting to move on and not have me go on a tangent, but it's appreciated. It's only going to get worse. This company, AJ Lee back with the company that's in a lawsuit. Cool.
Just to fire me up. I hadn't watched any of it, and I put on the clip of Monday, and I don't know what kind of people are eating that up. I don't get it.
It's that thing that they're very good at, which is to make things that aren't a big deal. I mean, they were able for a brief moment. Think about this. They were able to rehab Dolph Ziggler for like a brief moment there when he had his little Survivor Series with Sting, the match.
Oh, they could bring Dolph back tomorrow, and it'd be like the biggest fucking deal in the world.
Dude,
they would sell out an arena, and like, if they announced a Dolph return show, and like, I think he's from Cleveland, right?
He is. Yeah.
They just had that. They basically, what I was saying in the Discord was nobody. I don't believe anybody or a majority of the current fan base were watching when AJ Lee was around. Nobody was watching when AJ Lee was around.
I wasn't. Yeah, I was. I've got like no point of reference for AJ at all.
And what? She was like a manager, right, for a good chunk of it, or the GM or something
GM,
like that.
Yeah.
Just kissing people. She was boy crazy. Is that the idea?
I don't like people who use their mental health as their personality.
Yeah.
We're all going through it. Just pipe down.
Well, I just think it's very cool that a mental health advocate is going back to that company. I'm sure they'll have a great conversation with Brock at WrestlePalooza. Anyways, AJ Lee's back. Nobody, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, the amount they're doing that thing again. The WWE fan base is doing that thing again where they're hitting it a little too hard. They're going a little too gaga for it. It's a little too much. Kind of like when the Bloodline was absolute cinema. It's okay. It's better than your usual stuff. It's all right. Take a breath. They needed this AJ Lee thing. They needed it. It's something nice.
Well, what
as
is
opposed
it?
to all
A
the
mixed
direct.
tag? How much farther do you go? She's going to be in the women's division now?
I guess.
She's going to work Rhea Ripley? You're going to watch that match?
Yeah. I mean, I don't recall her. I mean, I being very good. I mean, I was coming back right when CM Punk was getting leaving.
She retired, and then the women got good. That's what happened.
They had Paige beat her in was that not her last match? They took the title
she wrestled
off. Paige
for another
beat her
6 months.
after that.
Yeah.
I just remember thinking, kind of tuning in and going, why is this woman doing CM Punk promos, like his cadence and everything? And
I had
they're
totally
dating.
forgotten that she did her own pipe bomb about the Bellas, and I'm like,
you all fuck other people.
Oh, boy. I don't know.
Best in the world. Yeah, cool.
Good people are happy and have something to.
Sean Ross Sapp's response to people going, "This isn't that big of a deal, right?" Or that this is weird. Shouldn't she be kind of not being in a company with this history and currently embroiled in a couple lawsuits? And his thing was, don't yuck my yum. Why can't we like things?
Oh, really? He said that was his response?
Wrestling fans that poo-poo on other wrestling fans liking things. I'm not saying you like it. I'm not saying don't like it. You can like it. I'm asking, why do you like it?
Well, to Sean Ross Sapp, I would say you can be full of purpose, you can be filled with purpose, or you can fulfill your purpose.
Full of purpose and fulfill your purpose. Yeah, full and fill right there.
If you have no one, give to everyone.
If you have no
Is that
one,
it?
give to everyone.
Usually,
That's it.
usually
We had
there's
short ones
another.
this week. So if you're a loner, I guess just give all your shit away.
No, he should have just tagged it. He should, if you know, what is it? If you have no one, give to everyone, and you'll know one. But that's the different no.
I see that one's clever.
Yeah, he should have thrown in an extra couple words in there.
The only time I want to float in life is when I'm helping others stay afloat in life.
Modest Mouse ripped that off and wrote "float on."
Let's get into Toots.
Okay, I'll say this, Sean. I said that the death of criticism is that kind of like everyone just like everything. It's fine. Well, then what are we doing? We can't do a little constructive criticism.
Boy, what's
eat
with
slop.
Kevin Nash hating on Becky Lynch? Like he doubled down and said she lost her spark after she had a baby.
No, I have no idea. If anything, I'm genuinely when I'm engaged with people showing me I can't get away from people showing me Becky Lynch clips. I've always found her, and the fans, I would say, have found that when she does the heel stuff, boy, we got some sick folks in here. Larry's just gonna have a bunch of when Becky's doing a heel thing or trying to get the fans to hate her, and it always falls flat. The fans are never behind it. They don't want that. And now she's finally seems to finally have turned the corner on it. So I don't know, rings a little false now that Kevin Nash is, if he was saying this a few years ago when they tried it.
Yeah. And then the other Nash thing that's weird, I don't know if there's truth in this. Everyone's like giving Raquel Rodriguez Gonzalez, whatever her name is, her flowers, saying she listened to Kevin Nash and she's working like a big woman now.
Yeah.
Did that happen? Was that a thing?
Oh yeah, Nash is like, yeah, you got to work big, Raquel.
Did she? I mean, I don't watch, so did she?
I guess. I don't know. The mutants that occasionally pop up will be like, she's killing it now.
She leaves her feet too much.
Okay.
She's not doing the corner elbows too. You know, the one where you back up and then you frame them.
There you go. Yeah.
She's not doing that. That to me is working big. You gotta do the elbows.
I don't know these. Yeah. I do genuinely try to not dive too much now into the mutant pool, where you just the amount of the slop that they eat and crow about. Can't do it. All right, let's get into Toots. This is Chapter 6, A Territory in Rapid Decline, which was what the last chapter was about. We left off, and Tim Hornbaker, since we are doing Capital Revolution, was saying that wrestling is going to get popular here. But New York was going to keep on struggling. They were not going to see that popularity. So he reminds us that the Trust, Curly, Toots, who was the other one? I can't remember. They're running well from 33 to 36, and then that Dick Shakat pulls a little switcheroo on him with Dano O'Mahony, right? And that throws everything into chaos. Okay, so the promoters get together. Across the country, actually, he says, in general, they start thinking to themselves, boy, this whole... Because Dano was picked, right? He was picked by, I believe it was Bowser. And that was kind of the way...
It was She-Cat, right?
Yep.
Okay.
And that's how it kind of went. It was that they'd all kind of in their own little area they'd pick somebody, or somebody would get picked, and they're thinking, well, what about this? And we're trying to make money here, and we're trying to get popular and what have you. What if we choose a guy that the fans like in our little area that they want to see, and we make them champion? What if we do that? We listen to the fans.
I also feel like they're in a constant state of consolidation and then fracturing again.
That's right. That is happening, and will keep happening, where they go, okay, this is how we're going to make this work. And then if one person or one thing goes awry, it's complete chaos. Everybody starts backstabbing. So old Toots, he enjoyed the trust. He liked the power of the trust. We're dictating champions. We're making people come to us. There, we hold the sway. And he picked Bronco Nagurski, right?
Hell yeah.
And here is what seems to often happen. People were like, oh, okay, sure. Nagurski wasn't a big to do. Let's see, what does he say? He improved a little bit on Dean Denton, but not a lot. And this is where I kind of was going, we already did this, Tim. He's kind of he's backtracking, which he tends to do in the beginning of his chapters. He backtracks a little bit. So we got Steve Casey in 38. He's touring the Paul Bowser circuit, which was the New England area, if I remember right. You got Tiger Man, John Pesek, and he's doing the National Wrestling Association, not the Alliance. He's got Al Haft of the, what do we call that? The Midwest-ish.
Yeah.
Like Ohio, what have you. Mondt Toots there wants to do like a singular guy that everybody rallies around, right? That will save the pro wrestling industry. And you know what? He thinks he's got a guy in mind, Jim Londos. And he needs to, Jim Londos, not a fan of Toots. So Ray Fabiani out of Philadelphia works as the middleman, and they make a peace pact, a truce. It says here that Londos had been on the comeback trail for about 2 years. Right? So they go, okay, here we go. November 18th, 1938, Londos in Philadelphia beats, and by the way, Londos is 44.
Yep.
Jeez. Ancient.
He beats Nagurski. Only thing that happened was that the crowd really didn't give a shit. And that's just because wrestling is waning in popularity. So now we've got Everett Marshall. He is being acknowledged as the NWA champion. It's 1938. And Tim Hornbaker talks about, you have your athletic commissions, and then you have these organizations that are kind of groups of bookers or booking agents or promoters, and they're creating these little wrestling organizations to give their roster of wrestlers credibility. So they go, this guy is the AWA champion, this guy is the NWA champion. You had Paul Bowser was doing the American Wrestling Association. Haft was doing the Midwest Wrestling Association. And Tom Pack in St. Louis was doing the NWA. So, yeah, the Marshall to Lou Thez on February 23rd, 1939. Then back to Nagurski, right? And that was some kind of agreement between Pax, Toots, and Tony Stecher. So then we go to March 7th, 1940. What's up?
Thez already in the picture. That's nuts.
Yeah, he started. When did he first pop up? He was a transitional champion there, and
I
when he
think
was a
that's the
young
first
guy.
time he's been brought up.
No, he got brought up when he was even younger. He was 21. He was working out of St. Louis. That's where he was.
There was a GIF that came up today. I love it every time I see it. Of Thez doing that thing where he's got his elbow against the opponent's face, and then he pops his hand with the other hand. You know what I mean?
I'd have to. I can't.
So he's got like his elbow resting against you, but then he smacks his hand to send the
to
force
drive his
through the arm.
Yeah.
And Cornette said, I guess Bobby Eaton must have worked through Thez, and Eaton said that move hurt like hell.
What a dick.
Hasn't anyone's dad done that to them? the fake but not really fake hit, or even a real hit. Tell me if I'm going crazy on it. Maybe I'm going. Maybe it's just because we're doing this book. Am I crazy in that old timey wrestling of this time? The wrestling of this time. I'm seeing clips on Reddit. Brian Danielson is recommending Lewis.
I saw that.
Talked about Cornette's cover. I know Cornette's covered in the past, but it just seems like somebody posted about Joe Savaldi. I've kind of like 4 different posts online. I'm seeing on other social media people going, "Hey, did you see that? And when did this? What's happening here?"
It predated us reading this by a few weeks, but excuse me, it makes sense now. Cornette went to Notre Dame. They have Jack Pfeffer's personal collection of letters at Notre Dame College. So he went through just to read them all, I guess.
I'm definitely not saying it's us, but it just seems like whenever we what was the other thing that happened? We were doing some book. Was it Mick Foley started acting all squirrely? I can't remember. Something happened where it was like perfect. So where are we at? So Lou says is now he's fully in the mix. He's not being floated. What's up?
Did we talk that him and the wife have been photographed together?
We did not talk about that, but yes, yes.
Foley and
and the fam
and his wife, yeah.
Oh, they're back together.
They looked like a happy family.
Okay.
They were always together. They've always been together.
You sure?
We
saw that pile of dishes in that house. Come on, that was a kicked out apartment if I've ever seen one.
When he was, is this during the time when he was like, I can do it, or
I've been trying to touch my toes, but I got a concussion, so now I have to stop.
No, that's right. I forgot about that. That was a sad hovel, wasn't it?
We might have speculated that was put the some people in the family might have been like, stop trying to do this. And now that it's off the table.
Well, he was just in the news saying he feels good.
Yeah. Outside of the concussion stuff.
Yeah.
I can't believe he's allowed on amusement park rides. I'll get on an amusement park ride and I'm like, oof.
I really don't think you should. But I'm no doctor.
And you've never claimed to be. I can't do amusement park.
Hang on,
I
sorry. I gotta digress. Gary Sinise posted this himself on Reddit.
Yes.
Okay, now I gotta look.
What a weirdo!
He's such a piece of shit.
What?
Like no one else does this.
Yeah.
No other celebrity. Like, remember 30 years ago when I was in.
Hold on. Let me read this. Okay, let me go in the Discord.
12 pictures. 12 pictures of himself he posted.
as Truman.
Gary Sinise here today marks the 30th anniversary of my role as Harry Truman. Remember when he posted not that long ago about how one of his great roles that he thinks about a lot was when he played George Wallace?
Yes, I do.
And he played Truman, but he's like, George Wallace. Now that's a guy really...
It's a man of conviction. Tells you right
one
up
of
front.
12. I let you just write 1 of 12. Okay, so then
Who does that? Who does that?
When? Look, he's an old guy. He's on Reddit. He's posting on Reddit.
We're gonna read his book, and I'm gonna get it.
He does have a book. I think he does. Now here's my I was thinking about. I was watching movies as I do, and I was thinking about movies, and I thought, what would be great, knowing how Gus feels about Gary Sinise. It's like, God, there's been some movies where he's played an absolute piece of shit, and I was like, we should do a double feature with Gus, a watch along of Snake Eyes and Ransom. Snake Eyes might be a little bit of spoiler, saying he's a piece of shit in that. Or alternatively, we could watch the George Wallace TV movie.
I was just going to say, whenever I see Bill Paxton, I'm like, why couldn't he be alive and Gary Sinise be the dead one? Because I get their roles confused sometimes.
Right.
And I'm like, one of them was cool. One of them, is Gary Sinise.
And now, have you guys seen Ransom?
No.
I have not.
Give me back my son.
Give me back my son.
That's an awesome scene. I don't want to spoil it. There's so many. Oh my God. You think, my brother and I once were talking about how like Mel Gibson, everybody knows about how he likes to torture himself in movies. He goes through the ringer physically. In that one, emotionally, it's torture. He's sobbing. He's heaving. He's crying. Man, yeah, we got.
Gus, what can you tell me about Blue Island?
Oh man, no. It's it's South Side.
Okay.
It's a little rougher.
Okay.
What?
Yeah.
What
it's Blue Island's legit.
Gary Sinise is from there.
Okay. I'm just trying to picture.
His family probably fled to the suburbs sometime in the. So.
I'm trying to think of something that I like. I mean, I don't not like him. He's very. I mean, I'm telling you, as somebody that's dead inside, pretty good. That's why he's not very. You ever seen the TV movie of The Stand that he made way back when?
No.
I never liked him in that as the lead guy because he's just kind of like he's good at like an Apollo 13, where Ed Harris has to be like shut up.
Yeah.
It's not the acting that offends me.
Yeah.
It's probably the persona. Like, he's a tryhard. You don't need to like try to buddy up with Reddit. That's fucking weird.
Yeah, but if you're old, look, the phone's not ringing. Isn't he a Republican? Didn't that kind of? I think he's a Republican.
Well, I'm sure he does a whole bunch of jack off shit with the troops. Like he's world's greatest fucking guy. Oh, I work with the troops. I'm so great. I'm Gary Sinise.
Well, that's because Lieutenant Dan was based off of him.
Right.
He isn't Lieutenant. I mean, Lieutenant Dan was him, and he is Lieutenant Dan.
Yes.
He thought his family fought in all those wars. Like he's co-opted Lieutenant Dan's stupid story. I was supposed to die out there.
How hard is it though to collect money and then just throw concerts for like the troops? So fucking hard. You're such a fucking hero.
You're saying he should just go away.
Yes.
Just keep it to yourself, dude. I don't need it.
Would this make it better? This would make it better. Anthony Hopkins is like, 30 years ago today, I played Nixon in Oliver Stone's Nixon. And then that gets more upvotes on Reddit. Anything?
I would love that if somebody did that to troll him. Like,
Just
Tom
give me
Hanks, like-
Bill. Yeah, Bill Pullman. I played a fake president in Independence Day. That would get more traction. I'm thinking anybody would get more traction than his TV movie Truman.
Yeah. Plus Truman, I mean, really? That's
it's just pathetic. Why? No one cares.
Truman, who
No one was thinking, oh, yeah, you know what? 30 years ago at Gary Sinise, Truman.
do they
Oh,
do
what
the
is-
scene where he meets Oppenheimer and Oppenheimer's like, I really don't think you should do this. And he's like, you're an annoying nerd. Get out of here. Did they do that scene?
wasn't that that was the British guy playing Truman, right?
They do that
What's his name?
with Gary Oldman. I think
Gary
they do
Oldman,
that
yeah.
scene. Yes, they do.
No, I'm
the
saying
scene.
Gary Oldman plays Truman, right?
I think so. In the movie,
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
Oppenheimer, yes. He doesn't say you're an annoying nerd, but yes, that did happen.
He's dismissive. Yeah.
Yes. Now there you go. Gary Oldman going. He posts in the Truman thread. Here's me from a few years ago.
Truman's wild because he was actually FDR's third vice president.
Yeah.
And so, and then he drops a nuclear bomb. And it just
Well, not even-
Somebody's got a little penis.
Don't forget the alien treaties.
Mm-hmm. I've been in Truman's house when he was growing. The house he grew up in.
where is that at?
I think it's in Missouri. Is it not? Is he not from Missouri? Am I wrong
I
on
don't
that?
know.
Okay.
Let's find out.
Yeah, he was a Missouri boy. He was a Missouri
Okay.
boy.
And that's why. Nearby. It's like every old house you walk into. They're like, we've kept this house pretty much the same. And it's like, yep, doilies. Let's see.
I've never been to the Garfield house
Oh,
because that's like 2 minutes away. I
Um,
don't know if it's preserved or what, but
like they have a picture of John and Odie there.
I was going to ask if
Yeah,
that's
Jim
listed.
Davis
It's closed on Mondays.
talking about an assassinated president. It's a tragedy.
Man.
Reminds me of that tragedy.
Let's see. So Jim Londos is 44, and now it's so he beats Nagurski. Nobody cares. We're talking about the associations.
Because we're in a rapid decline again, just to
Right. Yes, we're up, we're down, we're up, we're down. Lou says, yes, he's not 21. He's not being floated by Tom Pax. He's in it now. It's February 23rd, 1939. It's Marshall to Lou says to
he doesn't want to. He doesn't want to float unless he's trying to help someone stay afloat.
Right. March 7th, 1940. Ray Steele's back in it. He's there. He was one of those grumbly guys. He's got the NWA crown. Okay.
Oh,
Now
hey,
we're-
hang on.
What?
You know what's funny?
Hmm.
And this is another fucking coincidence. Someone in the Laps Discord was like, I'm new here, never been here before. I'm writing a book about old school Irish wrestlers like Dan O'Mahony and Ray Steele.
Mhm.
What
Somebody
the
help
fuck?
me. Yeah.
And did you said nothing, correct?
My silence is what I apologized for. So
Oh man, Sudi, get that Discord under control.
it was so
He,
random.
he shares screen caps of that place, and it's just it's always just chaos of people just. It's what I fear. I don't want our Discord to ever be that, but it's going to if we accept more. That's what it has to be. It's just people shouting. I'm in other Discords. It's just people doing their inane opinions. And then other people going, you're wrong. And then another person going, and then it always gets personal. So let's go over to Los Angeles. Toots Mondt, you'll never believe this. He's in deep trouble.
Oh, I
He's
forgot
running
about
his
this.
promotion with the
I'm up
Darrow
to my arm.
brothers.
Shit over here.
Yep.
The Darrow brothers, right?
Yep.
Whenever just hearing about brothers running it, I always think of the Rosati brothers from Godfather 2.
Okay. That classic. Lou Darrow, the elder, is seriously ill. Okay, so he's taking a step back, and him and his brother Jack, they go, you know what? Let's leave just Toots to handle all this, okay?
Sorry, I'm just thinking Godfather 2, 1974.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're not going to recap the whole movie, are we? I believe
You know-
is your brother's quote.
You know what? I do want to recap the movie. So if you have anything to say, offer it up.
Sorry, that's the first thing I think of now.
Hey, to be fair, hey, my brother recently came to me. He was over at my house, and he said, "I haven't talked to Larry about movies in a while. I missed that." And I
You can do it.
nodded. I said, "Okay, yeah, let's do a smell. Let's figure something out." But then I'll offer like, "Hey, you want to watch this movie?" No response. So they're gonna let Toots handle it. That was a bad idea, writes Tim
Damn
Hornbaker.
it, boys! You gotta help me out here.
Don't leave Toots to his own devices, okay? And he says whenever Toots was able to call the shots, this is all anybody wants out of Toots. Who do you think should be champion? Can you get a hold of this guy so we can book him? That's all they want. Anytime he's allowed to do anything outside of that, it's disaster. One of the major complaints that started cropping up in Los Angeles was that he was not paying the wrestlers. That was already his rep. That was his reputation, and the Darrow brothers went, "Ugh, what if we just let him like handle payroll?" He seemed to have no conscience when it came to his employees, and he just kind of it was like, "Hey, who else are you gonna go to? I run Los Angeles, baby." Mondt was as uncontrolled with his money, it turns out, in Southern California as he had been in New York. He's spending a lot of time at those racetracks, the horsies, the ponies, Hollywood Park and Del Mar.
It's called the geographical cure. It never works.
He's like, you know what? Yeah, he's Don Draper driving out to
I was just gonna say,
California.
yeah, Toots is Don Draper.
New life. Here we go. All my little quirks and personality.
Toots at the fucking yoga retreat.
Yes,
watching the
they
world
won't
sing.
follow. There's no way. Or like when Tony's Aranda goes to Las Vegas. I like how Tim writes this here. Legend has it that he was gambling the money he siphoned from the pay of his workers. Legend has
That was just the 401k plan at
it. The legend of Toots Mondt and his crippling gambling. So, the California State Athletic Commission and the California State Assembly decided to order some investigations from 39 to 40 into what is going on with this little promotion here. Allegations of assaults, threats, blacklisting, payments to sports writers and political figures, well into the six figures. Keep in mind, they're bribing city officials more than they're paying the wrestlers.
They're bribing the city officials so they don't have to pay the wrestlers when the amount of the bribes they're paying is
They're paying sports
way more
writers
than
more.
what would be the right thing.
Yeah, will you write about this and promote this for us, and we'll pay you more than what we're going to give actual wrestlers that people are coming to see? So what they're doing, to prevent the rival promoters and bookers from receiving licenses, they're doing all kinds of shady stuff, Well, then the commission gave a booker's license to ex-wrestler Nick Lutz in 1940.
Hey, I'm Nick.
So all the disgruntled wrestlers, they go over to him. The Darris brothers lose the Olympic auditorium to George Zaharias, not Zaharian, George Zaharias. And then in 1940, Toots sells what's left to Lutz. And now we can shoot over to New York. Tim's all over. He has he shoots around a lot. He's a little scattered. Back in New York, Madison Square Garden. Nobody's coming to see wrestling. Stanislaw Zabisco, he's popping up in March 30th, 1938, and he gets 5,000 people for his show that he puts together. Jack Curley Jr., his dad is dead, and he had tried his hand at it, right? And he just decides to, you know what, I'm going to go into the insurance business. Okay. And so now what's left of New York? The Johnstons, who were always kind of booking the wrestling for the Garden. Rudy Dusick, Jack Pfeffer, Rudy Miller, and Jess McMahon. They're all kind of running around in that New York area booking shows and trying to keep things afloat. Tim writes that, a big thing that helped New York was that it had coverage in the newspapers. They would write about wrestling. And now, nothing. It was incredible. By 39, it's just insignificant, he says. So we cut to, what's Jack Pfeffer doing then? Remember Jack Pfeffer? He went to the commission. He went to the law, I believe, and said, it's all rigged. That's how mad I am about getting excluded out of the trust. Well, he's starting to scout everywhere. His big idea is, what if I have a traveling, touring carny show of wrestlers, okay? I sent you guys that a while ago now. I sent you that article that had been written about him, where essentially in that article where the guy's interviewing him, he's straight up like in the office being like, and take a look here at this freak. Come over here. Let him get a look at you. Look at this guy. I take him all over the place. It's like, I think he's calling him a freak in the article. So a 1941 report claimed he traveled 12,000 miles in search of his new attractions. And he also starts doing a thing where he goes, what's popular in the country? What do they like? Oh, there's the French Angel. Well, I'll do the Swedish Angel. Or, Lou Thez is popular. What if I've got a guy named Lou Kez?
Okay, see, that's what I know Jack Pfeffer from listening to Cornette, because, right, he would book Bruno Sand Martino.
He is the original annoying Reddit guy who's going, what's Lou Kez doing in the Impact Zone? You know that?
Oh,
you ever seen?
God.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you like that. He's, saying guys are from, exotic locales. Jack Claiborne out of Missouri is, from South Africa. He's got Billy Darnell. He's got Angelo Savaldi. He's got Herman Dutch Road, who would soon be known as Buddy Rogers. But the Swedish Angel, his success was dwarfed by the French version, the French Angel. Maurice, is it Tillet or Tillet?
I don't know.
Okay, well, we'll just call him Maurice. And of course, his big thing is, and I've seen it saying it's debunked, I've seen it saying it's true, that he is the inspiration to Shrek, or at least his head. Which, when you look at his head, I think it's like,
up looking. I
feel like when I heard it was debunked, it was that somebody wrote it to Dave as a joke, and then Dave took it as gospel.
Oh, God.
And then repeated it. And now always does the thing where he always says it. That's where I feel like I heard it, that it was debunked. But that might not be true either. Either way, he does look like Shrek.
Has Dave ever brought up the Bruno Mars story?
No, what's the Bruno Mars story?
He's named that after Bruno.
Yeah, San Martino. Yeah.
I feel like somebody would say that to Dave, and Dave always on something I wanted to have a reaction to. I want to see his brain wrap around it.
Yeah.
And then he
Why
wouldn't
I'm
give. He'd be
shocked.
like,
I've
"Oh."
never heard him talk about it.
Is Bruno Mars just not, even though he's had hits, is that just not even registering for Dave?
Didn't
He
he play
needs
the
to-
Super? Wasn't he the Super Bowl guy one year?
Oh yeah.
I feel like I would have heard that on Observer Radio at the time. Like,
Yeah.
did you know that, Brian? And Brian's going, huh? Who? Let me maybe say, let me look at this guy. Brian reacting to what Bruno Mars looks like. This little guy? Like he expects Bruno Mars to look like Bruno Sammartino.
God.
This poor guy, Maurice here, the French angel. He had the old Andre the Giant disease, right? The acromegalia.
Yeah, what's going on in France? Why
What's in the water?
all fucked up?
But this poor guy, he's not whereas Andre's kind of, his bones are growing, what have you. I don't know, his body parts are growing. This guy's just staying at 5'8". So he's just got a giant head on a 5'8" frame. And he was drawing in the crowds. He defeats Steve Casey for the AWA World Title for Paul Bowser. Reigned for 2 years. Then he goes in. He had Frank Sexton from Sedalia, Ohio.
Yeah, I don't know that city. It doesn't exist anymore. I looked it up.
Yeah. He's working as the Black Panther in 1941. You got Bill Longson, Bobby Manigoff Jr., who was the son of the guy that did that original ref screw job. Sandor Zasbo. He's going through 45. Then he kind of just he starts Tim. Zabo? Is it Zabo? Zabo. Sandor. I loved. Did you guys watch Sandor on Disney Plus? Longson and Man. So he talks about Longson and Manigoff Jr. for a while, and just like how great they were. And this is all generally to move into the wars are coming, okay? And this speaks to all of how kind of scattered Tim's writing is, where he's like, and now I'm talking about Bill Longson and Manigoff Jr. and their feud, and then I'm talking about. Then he ends it with, Longson's back problems and family obligations, and Manigoff's double cataracts prevented them from serving in the military during World War II. And I've kind of sighed at this sentence. They fulfilled a different role by entertaining in the squared circle. Like, Tim, you know how to do this.
Is that what he says?
Yeah. Yep.
That's like remember Mitt Romney said that about his sons.
They fulfilled a different role.
Yeah, why aren't your sons in Iraq? He's like, well, they're helping the country out by being at home and being businessmen.
Family obligations. Okay. Tell that to Mrs. Ryan and her poor sons. So now that gives Tim leeway to start talking about how the war changed the pro wrestling landscape. We've got guys going over for duty. Ruffy Silverstein or Stein. He was supposed to be old Ruffy was supposed to be the next NWA champion. Nope. He's in the Army. Lou Thez, he's in his prime. He's going over. Steve Casey. Ed or Ed Virag or Virage or Virag.
I didn't know Thez served.
That's what it says. Lou Thez was
What
in
a
the prime,
hero.
and had he not been called to service, he was going over there. He's going to the Nazis, giving the old elbow, and then slamming his hand down on it. Take that, yeah, Kraut.
Pow.
I want to look up an old Captain America comic book and see if he's doing that to one of the quotes. Hold on, I gotta pause real quick. Okay. And then now that, so we talked a little bit about World War II. People go, but guess who else is going over? Not going over, but enlisting. July 24th, 1942. Vincent James McMahon. Remember him? Jess's son. He's 28 years old now. And he's entered into the U.S. Coast Guard at Manhattan Beach, New York. Tim describes him as intelligent and that he had taken the most interest in his father's work. Remember, there's also his older brother, Roddy Jr., and his younger sister, Dorothy. We'll never hear about them ever again, I don't think.
I don't see Fez didn't serve.
You calling Tim out?
Yeah. It says he did some war bond drives, but that's it.
Oh no, Tim thinks doing a war bond drive is... he's saluting them. Thank you for your service. Yeah, it says Luthez was in the prime of his wrestling life, and had he not been called to service, there is no doubt he would have made an impact. Are we reading that wrong? Luthez was in the prime of his wrestling life, and had he not been called to service,
I don't know.
he would have made an impact. Had he not been called to service. Is he saying that if Luthez had gone in, he would have made an impact in the service? Like, he's taking our joke where he's like doing the elbow to the... He's like, we would have won that war. Like, boom. It would have been...
Hooking all the Nazis.
Interesting. Tim, if Larry doesn't, I am going to reach out to Tim and see if we can interview him. Seems like an easy get. Not to say that he's not, but a lot of these guys that write just exclusively wrestling books generally are open to being interviewed. And I would like to know, do we ask him, why do you think Luthez served? Will he have it as a nicer reaction as Ian Douglas did when he was like, no, I reached out and I was like, we got to fix some of these mistakes they made.
No, he's gonna double down and just call you a piece of shit, and he's gonna tell you to go drink bleach.
Is Tim listening like Ian was? I don't know. What is Tim from? He's Chicago, isn't he? Chicago White Sox guy?
Oh, hell yeah.
Or at least he's a guy that is obsessed and has written books also about but also again, it has to be old timey. You know, it's the Black Sox scandal. I'd love to take a look at Tim's house. Is everything old timey? I mean, his baseball interests, his wrestling interests. Has he got like what is that old kind of like a Victograph or something? You know, like the old timey radio with the big horn.
This is crazy. Says Thez and Wild Bill Longson went to the Fourth War Loan Drive in Houston, Texas, 1944. The event was a mixture of high and low culture, being presented as a wrestling bout and a concert performance by the symphony orchestra. The crowd bought $7 million worth of war bonds.
Jesus.
God. Even with Longson's bad back?
The match went to a time limit draw.
Did Longson have to explain to the U.S. Army why he had a bad back? It's because of all this falling down I do in the totally legitimate wrestling. Vincent James McMahon, he's 28. Okay. Tim traces it to when he was 11, watching his father become the matchmaker at Madison Square Garden, blown away by the spectacle, Tim says. So we flash back. Here we go. Vincent attended Public School 69 in Jackson Heights. Then he went to LaSalle Military Academy in Long Island. He's doing summer camp to keep him busy. William Morris at the New York Evening Post does an article on Jess McMahon on August 3rd, 1929. And They say that Justice sent Vincent to a location overlooking Buzzards Bay in Massachusetts, and in the column they have a letter from Vince to his older brother Roddy Jr. And in the letter, Vince writes that he's learned how to follow up a left jab with a right cross knockout punch. And he asks, "Don't tell father, for I want to surprise him one of these days." Is that a threat?
Kind of sounds like it. Yeah, he's gonna.
So little Vince wants to be a boxer. Jess does not like that. But then Tim describes it as Vincent wasn't closed-minded. I don't know. That's an odd way to say. Vince played other sports. Baseball, hockey, cross country. Can you believe that Vince McMahon's dad, Vince James McMahon, is more athletic than CM Punk? Like that old man at the end of his, at like 1984, at the end of the line, probably had a better throw.
I bet he was still playing tennis.
Yeah.
So he finishes up high school in Far Rockaway High School, graduates 1932. Then Tim throws this little bit in here. 3 years after that, so 1935. Him and a buddy, Vince and his buddy Edward Sargent, taking a bus from Brooklyn to Rockaway Beach, where maybe his brother was still a lifeguard, Roddy Jr. Last we heard from him, he was a lifeguard at Rockaway Beach. They're on this bus. The bus takes a sharp turn. There's some police officers on the bus. They bump into these guys when whoop, sharp turn. Words are exchanged. Okay, now the officers are leaving the bus. Something else is said. People are chirping. Now, there's two versions of this story. One version is that the police officers arrested Vincent and Edward, and that was that. And the other version is Vincent's version, which is they beat the shit out of Vincent and Edward, the cops did. And they broke Vincent's nose. The officer said that did not happen. So, May 1935, they're in Rockaway Beach Court. Charges of disorderly conduct against Vincent and Edward were dismissed, and the audience in the courtroom applauded the decision. Is it just like Jess McMahon, his dad? Why is the court applauding these two young hooligans?
Yeah, I don't know.
So Vincent is working at a newspaper. He's running errands. He's just dinking around in the newspaper office. In 1940, they take the federal census, and it says he lives at home in Bell Harbor, Queens, and he's unemployed. Now back to 1940. What was it? The year 42. Back to 42. Right? He's now in the Coast Guard. It's taken him to Sullivan's Island in Charleston Harbor, South Carolina, and then also to Wilmington, North Carolina. What happens in North Carolina? This 28-year-old man.
Don't do it, Vicky. Right? Isn't that her name?
Yes. He develops a serious relationship with a local girl named Victoria Elizabeth Hanner. They get married. He's still in the military. He's in the Coast Guard. He returns to New York City. And he's discharged.
Oh, no.
August 18th, 1945. 6 days after that, Vincent Kennedy McMahon is born. Where is he born? In Moore County, North Carolina. The son of Vincent Victoria.
Vicky was 101 when she died.
Yeah. Vince just recently celebrated this birthday. 6 days. I like that he puts 6. It doesn't put the date. It just says 6 days after the August 18th of him being discharged.
Yeah, it is on August. I remember that.
So, may I? What's August? 6 days after August 18th. I can't do the math. 1, 2,
24th.
3, 4. Correct. So.
Now, we did hear Gus did some field work.
Mm-hmm.
And we did hear a clip from, 1990? of Vince saying that he did not have a brother.
Yeah, he was very, very.
Yes, Jerry Lawler says, imagine, or no, Bobby Heenan says, imagine if he had a brother.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't have a brother.
Now Vince could in court point to that and be like, see, it's a Vince McMahon character that I play who doesn't have a brother. Except they were going to use that character, try to figure that out when he did his fake death. They were going to bring in the real Roderick.
Yeah.
Give me that shit any day of the week over whatever Paul's cooking.
Oh, absolutely. I miss Vincent Kennedy McMahon's wild.
Remember the egg?
Yep. That was fun.
That's the biggest thing for. I mean, I've spent time thinking about that because I think some
zombie match
picture of that Roderick's sons who are in construction or something like that. They're beefy boys. They would have gotten involved, like the pull, like they were so close to getting pulled into this thing. So close, and it would have been the thing we've talked about before. People that shouldn't probably be on television. Just like think of this guy's never had anything to do with this. Now he's going to be asked to be on weekly television.
Memorizing a script.
Yeah, he's sweating.
That Brian Gewirtz is handing him.
But this guy could frame the fuck out of a wall, though.
Oh my god! You know what? Okay. Picture that, like, and then they would definitely have a scene where like a diva at that time, is like flirting with them, trying to get whatever match or whatever segment going on. He's got to stand there awkwardly as they're doing their bit, and he's probably thinking, Vince was into this, or Vince, this is the show, like where women throw themselves at you for like favors. But it's this guy that's as wide as a doorway, with these big beefy boys. His name's Roddy.
Roderick.
So then Tim follows up.
Fucked it all up.
I know. I wouldn't say
I was
that.
just watching that the questioning of the guy who edited the Wikipedia.
The questioning.
Yeah, because remember someone edited the Wikipedia saying that he killed his wife and kid the day before anyone knew.
Right.
So the video's out there now. He's just a nerd, but the cops had to question him for like a half hour.
What was it? He was just joking around. He just happened to
hit
you, right? Oh my!
Just throwing shit out there.
He heard. Okay, so okay.
I heard that Benoit missed the show and then went onto Wikipedia and was like, "Yeah, Chris Benoit murdered his wife and kids," and then
that nerd William Regal. I was just having a laugh on the Wikipedia.
Oh.
Dean, come look at what I did on the Wikipedia.
My good boy.
Now I'm thinking Regal just read it on Wikipedia.
Oh, that's right. Before he filmed his thing.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. It's clicking in.
God.
Doesn't Bob Holly have a story where he's like, yeah, Benoit was calling me a lot? Or something like that?
No. It was a Meltzer quote, and it's a wonderful Meltzer quote. They're talking about Bob Holly's number. He goes, God, no one's got Bob Holly's number. The only one who does is Chris Benoit. And,
You want that guy to know about Bruno Mars.
And
So I hope Colin can find that clip, because now I want to see it again.
We are going to do Bob's book one of these days. That's one I'm looking forward to.
I
And I
wish
think we can get him.
Dave just needs to write a book about himself.
Don't get Dave started on that. That's one of Dave's favorite things. Oh, so many people have asked me to write a book. I mean, if anybody could write a book about Vince, it's probably me, but I just don't have the time. Oh, man, but everybody keeps asking me about writing this book, Maybe I should write a book, but the time. This is how Tim wraps up the love affair of Victoria and Vince. Vincent was later divorced. Boom, moving on. So there you go. Vincent Kennedy McMahon is in North Carolina growing up.
See, I wish we'd go into more detail. I wish, I want the divorce records. I want to know, everything. Everything.
That
Nope,
bastard.
we're back over to Los Angeles.
That bastard Leo Lupton's moving into the trailer.
Yep.
That's right.
I'm your new dad.
What was it that he used to beat Vince with?
Ooh, that I don't remember.
An NWA program, and that's why.
I'll have to look. I've got this really interesting documentary that both him and Linda did. There's a sit-down interview. I think it might have been with Matt Lauer.
Wow.
Circa 1999, right when they're going public, and they spend 15 or 20 minutes talking about his childhood. It's fascinating.
Thank God Vince didn't see the red button in his office that Matt Lauer had. Really saved some people some heartache there on that one. What's this do? Oh, this? It locks the door.
I should. Really,
Interesting.
I don't have doors. I just.
Well, hey, remember Matt Lauer tried out for the fucking WBF to be an announcer.
That's tough. Well, where in the world is Matt Lauer? Remember that?
I do. That was before school viewing.
Oh, man.
Eating my Cinnamon Toast Crunch. And
waking up with Al Roker.
Yep.
Mom, he's in Germany. Thank you, Larry. Nope, now we're back to Los Angeles. Toots Mondt.
Semi-Sonic's playing.
It's a summer series. Toots, last we left him just a couple pages ago, he'd sold, his share of the promotion to Lutz. And this was his move. And the Darros brothers have lost the Olympic Auditorium and all that. So this is what Toots does. This is how Tim writes it. He simply walked to another part of the arena and became a concessionaire. So Toots Mondt, he's deeply in debt. He's sold up. He's just trying to stay afloat. And his bright idea is, I'll just work the concession stand at this arena I know so well. Okay. Peddled cold beer and hot dogs, made himself livable wages. So,
let me ask you, why do you think the mob isn't involved in wrestling?
I don't. I don't think the mob is involved. I don't think the mob is involved. I
don't either, and you don't hear any stories. And I'm just saying, why do you think that is?
But I have a theory that Sam Muchnick was had enough brush up against. How would you phrase that? What's so funny is that at one point I Googled. We'll get to it. I Googled Sam Muchnick mob.
Okay.
Just to find, and it literally there's a website from his nephew, Irvin Muchnick, and it's just him going through old letters and what have you.
Irv's a writer,
right? And it's just him kind of, and he has a whole thing about.
Remember, Irv's the one who wrote that great Von Erich Penthouse article in the 80s.
Dear Penthouse, I can't believe it happened to me. I was alone in the locker room with the Von Erichs. That kind of thing?
No, it was like an expose. It was a real solid journalism piece.
Hold on, I have it here. This is what Irv had to say about it. because someone clearly is thinking like me.
Yeah.
And I'll read it again when we get to it. As I prepare to move on to other categories of some of the rescued papers of my late uncle, I pause to address the last page of the batch already now viewable at link. Before doing so, however, I want to underscore a master theme. Sam Muchnick was not part of organized crime. And repeat after me. Sam Muchnick was never mobbed up. I'm reading that going,
Totally mobbed up.
okay, all right. Just curious that he adopted almost every single practice that they had and applied it to wrestling. But yes, I don't know, Larry. I don't know. The mob wasn't involved because they were already doing it. To the point
What
of
do you
even
mean?
paying off officials and what have you to stay out of their business. These promotions, all these promotions start running their little rackets, and then Sam Muchnick pulls them all together, and it becomes a little.
You're right. I guess you could look at it that way.
And I think even Irvin in that thing brings up, how could he be mobbed up if the cops told the mob to stay out, or they'd have to deal with them? And it's like because Sam paid them to say that to the mob. Is it also? Can you say this to, or if your uncle isn't involved with the mob, but is doing everything the mob does outside of, I guess, what, murder? But he's doing like extortion. He's doing fraud. He's exploiting workers.
There was a federal antitrust suit at one point.
Yes. If he's still doing crime, and it's very mob-like. I mean, we're splitting hairs here at this point. He's just like a different class of criminal. He's not hurting. I mean, he's hurting some people. So Toots is now slinging beer and hot dogs. But that's not the end of it. The IRS shows up. And this is in 1942, in December 1942. They are targeting actors and actresses and people in sports, athletes. And so now all of a sudden Toots' name comes up. He owes the IRS $18,000, which is inflation, $355,000.
Jeez, Toots. Get your shit together.
This is what Toots does. He bolts for New York. And they never, and this is what we talked about last week, is can you just solve your IRS problems by just moving across the country?
Probably. That, I mean, at least for a
1942?
good number of years. Back in 1942, sure.
They go to the Olympic Auditorium. They're like, yeah, he's selling hot dogs over there. If you go down they go, he's not here. He was here yesterday. Well, I guess we're not getting to get that 18,000. So he wants to get back in the wrestling business because he's probably thinking, I got to make some money. I was trying to fly under the radar, selling hot dogs. So he goes and he reaches out to Jack Pfeffer, and he becomes one of his guys, which is what a turn. Jack Pfeffer used to have hate in his heart for old Toots, and Toots was the one in power. Now Toots is working for Jack. He's worked as a road agent for the Swedish Angel, and he's working out of Pfeffer's Times Square office, right? And then he's got a friend, Alfred Al Mayer, a French-born publicity agent. And now Tim wanders into that. This Mayer guy, his father and grandfather were producers in Europe, and it's in his blood. Anyways, Pfeffer's traveling around the country.
An office in Times Square.
Mm-hmm.
That's wild.
Old-timey Times Square.
For the hookers.
No M&M store there. So while Pfeffer's out,
License and sloppy.
I mean, where's the nearest horse track to 1942 Times Square?
They got tons of OTVs.
If he's out there, he's thinking, okay, fresh start again. Here we go. Fresh start number 3, 4. So while he's there, Mayer and Mondt, right, decide to form their own booking office. Okay, this time it's going to work. They got all their old contacts, and it's always this thing of like Toots has a horrible reputation, but people are like, well, I know the guy. I mean, I know what to expect out of him, so okay, I'll work with him. So the big signing, though, between 44 and 46 for Mondt was Primo Carnera, former boxing champion, who'd recently escaped incarceration during the war in Italy. Woo! But here's Carnera's rep. He's an idiot. When he was a boxer, he had a half a dozen managers that were all taking a percentage of his purse. And he's basically always poor because everyone's just taking his money from him, going, hey, you know. Yeah.
Remember, he's the one who's an open fascist.
Oh, cool. Well, Toots sees him and knows his rep as a quote-unquote rube and goes, I have some experience. I can help you out.
Remember, he saluted Mussolini during a show.
Oh, that's right. Let's see. Promotion alliances were still the fad in New York City, and he goes through it that they're still doing the clubs, St. Nicholas, the Johnsons and Rudy Miller are there. Let's see. Let's look at their roster. Tim loves to list a roster, and I love to read names. Frank Sexton, Elo Steinborn, Kola Quariani, Stu Hart, Sander Kovacs, Ben Morgan, Paul Bosch, Bobby Bruns. We got the Broadway Arena. That's Rudy Dusek running that. And Jess McMahon is managing for him the Sunnyside Garden in Queens in 1947. So here we go. We're back to Jess, and now we've wound our way back to Jess McMahon. So after the war, the post-war years, there was a boom period for pro wrestling. And why was that? We're finally getting to... Oh, nope. That's the next chapter, I think. This one's called A Territory in Rapid Decline. The next chapter is called Revitalized by Television, but we're going to start it now in this other chapter where he says TV was helping out pro wrestling here, the availability of television. Montgomery Wright in the New York Sun, January 6, 1947.
Did you say we're at the end of a chapter?
We're not even at the end, but Tim's doing the thing where he's going to start talking about how TV makes wrestling popular again, and then he's going to name the next chapter TV. And this one's called Decline. And then the next one he talks about something else other than TV, and then he makes the next one. You know, it's on and on and on.
Okay.
So, January 6, 1947, Montgomery Wright of the New York Sun writes this. He thinks there's about 5,000 television sets in private homes in New York, another 3,000 nationwide. So 8,000 TVs in this country now. Dave, start doing the math. So if 8,000 TVs nationwide, if there's 2 people in every household, people were out there thinking, well, you know what? If the price comes down, I know there could be a rush to buy TVs. There could be as many as 500,000 TVs by the end of 1947. So New York has 3 stations, NBC, CBS, and WABD, the Dumont Network. Mm-hmm. The Dumont station officials think, hey, you know what? People like watching sports, arena sports. So in 1946, they begin putting on live boxing and wrestling shows on their network. They work out some deals. They got Sam Weiss, owner of Jamaica Arena. They got the Bill Johnston over there doing Friday night telecasts from the venue. And they go over to Chicago at the Rainbow Arena And some of the promoters are thinking, if they can just watch it at home, why would they come out and watch it live? This might actually end up hurting us. But guess what? That did not happen. If anything, people wanted to go check out what they were seeing on TV. It's cheap to produce. They fill up the nightly lineup. NBC's doing it. And they got a Tuesday night program from St. Nicholas Arena featuring the Toots wrestlers. WPIX is an independent station, and they're doing wrestlings on Thursday from Queensboro Arena in 1948. And WOR also presented the Jamaica Arena TV program. So, let's see. WATV started airing Turner's wrestling from Turner's Arena in Washington, D.C. We're jumping so far ahead. But we're going to come back to all of this. The ABC network is doing the Chicago Rainbow Wrestling on WJZ. The Dumont expanding the reach of the Chicago Saturday Night Series to do Marigold Arena in New York on WABD. Gorgeous George is being seen on all these television sets. St. Louis was likely the most profitable wrestling city during the 1940s. Okay, we got the Bill Longston stuff. Okay, Tom Pax is booking a hell of a, or promoting a hell of a show. He's paying people, right? Because he's drawn, so he's paying. They're known for being professional. People love to work in. St. Louis is a fine old town. People like working there. But then there's his assistant. His assistant through 1941 was Sam Muchnick, an ultra-wise former sports writer, says Tim Hornbaker. And he's doing the old JR gimmick, or what JR would inevitably do. He's a proto-JR. He's doing public relations. He's doing matchmaking. He's doing whatever he needs in the right? He's the assistant. So then Muchnick decides to do his own promotion. And it says, Tim writes, because what made him do this was his bad feelings for PAX. But he does not elaborate on why he has bad feelings for PAX. Muchnick is somebody that enters the U.S. Army during the war.
There have been a few of those, like a perceived slight.
Yes.
It starts a rivalry.
I'm begging you, Tim, throw in one of those letters you read. Just anything. Just give me a snippet. He gets back from the war. He goes to St. Louis, and Sam gets a license and stages his first program in December 1945. And he's using Billy Sandow, the old Strangler Lewis's manager, Billy Sandow, to his wrestlers, his group. Of course, Pax runs St. Louis, and he's going, well, what the fuck? And now we have our little St. Louis wrestling war. We got Pax, and he's got his National Wrestling Association affiliates, and we got Muchnick and his troupe of indie promoters, guys that are not associated with the National Wrestling Association. And what does Sam do? He looks at his little group of guys he's working with, like Sandow, what have you, and he calls them the National Wrestling Alliance, which is also being used by Paul Pinky George in Iowa.
Yes, Sam doesn't have mob ties. He's working with a guy called Pinky. Come on.
And this was George's idea, a national union of bookers, a legitimate organization. Okay? So first, we're just going to do the Midwest guys, okay? We're going to be this National Wrestling Alliance, not the association. Very funny, though, that he just took the name and was like, I'll muddy up the waters here. Now, Sam's friends with Jack Pfeffer. And which then, that is So what he's thinking about is talent, okay? So then now he's connected to Tony Stetcher in Minneapolis, Max Clayton of Omaha, Orville Brown of Kansas City, Al Haft of Columbus, George in Iowa. So now he's got a wider array of wrestlers to bring into St. Louis. From Pfeffer, he gets Nature Boy Buddy Rogers. And now, and that alone is enough to push Muchnick ahead of Pax. 1948, Pax is bordering on bankruptcy, calls it quits. And he sells, so you'd think, okay, but he's not going to go out that easily. He's going to sell what he's got left for about $37,000. He's going to sell it to Luthez and Bill Longson and Montreal promoter Eddie Quinn and Toronto promoter Frank Tunney.
Hello, I'm Frank.
Well, so Thez is going, okay, I got a promotion now. Fair enough. And I'm also in this promotional war against Sam Muchnick and all these other guys. And it's a losing one. Toots Mondt, now we're back over in New York. Toots Mondt and Rudy Dusek. They see that the NWA, the Alliance, is growing. More Midwest guys are jumping into this thing. But they're way over. They're in New York. This is not their concern. He also was like, these guys are like, this is New York. All these guys, small time.
We need George W. Bush to explain to these people that isolationism doesn't work.
It's not, these little. What are they doing with this group? He's thinking, okay, they have rules that they're allowed. This guy doesn't go in this guy's territory. This guy's booking this. This guy can't book that. This is New York, and he's got Antonino Rocca, a nimble 28-year-old tumbler. Or he resembled a tumbler. He's lean and mean. Let's see. No, let's see. Would love one. Okay, yes, I write here. Would love one example because Tim writes the mood of the Mayor office was usually contentious. Toots' big personality was hard to cope with at times. It's like I don't know what that means right now. Toots' big personality. What's he doing? All I know is that he loves to gamble.
Yeah, he's racking up debt and
big personality. I know he beat the shit out of a guy in a hotel with another guy. I know that. I know he sold hot dogs. I know that. And Tim writes, it wasn't known what specific incident ignited the quarrel that ended their partnership in 1948, but they went their separate ways. Okay. So Toots, he's always working. He finds Rudy Miller and Milo Steinborn. Or Milo. And they form the Manhattan Booking Agency. Jack Pfeffer, he's on the road, right? He's going everywhere with his little collection of carnies. And Buddy Rogers is pretty damn popular. And he's out, he's like, I'm bigger than this. And Pfeffer, as always in this book, has been presented as paranoid, and he is again paranoid that promoters are trying to steal Buddy Rogers from him. And then he moves on. Okay, so professional wrestling in New York City is coming up in 48 and 49. It's been a minute. What would that be? About 10 years since it died. You got Toots, you got Rudy Dusek, you got the Johnstons, Bill and Charles, and they're going to try and get Madison Square Garden back on the map, the wrestling map. And they're going to book the best show possible. And they're going to book it with Gorgeous George.
Wow.
And he was going to go against Ernie Dusek. And everybody in the office is excited, except the people that weren't excited, the fans. February 22nd, 1949, 4,200 showed up. And Gorgeous George bombed so badly that the local press reported about it. So there you go. Should we take a break?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Chapter 7, revitalized by television. I guess wrestling has been revitalized. Now we're moving on. Okay. Tim's, writes about how promoters generally would have a home territory, which is it's kind of insane to me that worked. Like going, hey, I book shows here, X amount of miles from you. Don't you dare book a show around me. And the guy goes, okay.
Well, I don't know. It's hard to...
I think some of it was just laziness.
Yeah, I don't think guys wanted to go that far.
Vince did, as we're hopefully someday going to find out.
Yeah.
Well, there was a guy, William Joseph Joe Turner, in Washington, D.C. He was a former wrestler. So he is running shows, and he needed a building. That's October 1935. We're going back. It's a multi-year lease on what Tim calls a structure on W Street, northwest of Washington, D.C., between 13th and 14th Street. Essentially a garage that was owned by Crescent E. Finch. He had owned it since 1917. So they need renovations because he wants to put on wrestling there.
What's the name of Vince's new production company?
Alpha Entertainment, I think.
Alpha.
No. It's a street name, and it's where the Capitol office was.
Oh.
Let me look it up. You saying that made me think of it. Um, 14th and I.
Oh. Yes.
So that comes up.
So the building was 85 by 150 feet. He put up a front entrance hall. He put in ticket booths. He put in a concession plus a dressing room area. And Tim writes that Turner's Arena was ready to debut grappling December 5th, 1935. But guess what? I'm about to out Tim. Because the first show actually that he put on was December 2nd, 1935, and it was a boxing match. Phil Furr versus Sid Silas in front of 1,500 fans. But yes, 3 days later, the first wrestling show. And it was Dan O'Mahony beating Jack Donovan. So, Turner's Arena. That's where you'd go. If you want to watch pro wrestling in DC, you're going to Turner's Arena. Let's see. So, 62 years of age in 1947. Turner, quote, suddenly passed away, and I find that Tim writes suddenly passed away for everybody. I looked it up. He died a day after his birthday from a long, lingering liver ailment.
Wouldn't long lingering be the opposite of suddenly?
Yes.
Long and torturous.
And so what happened? His widow, Florence, takes over. Tim writes with the assistance from her husband's longtime booker, Gabe Menendez. And looking into that, going, oh, that's interesting, a woman. And then it was like, oh, they married. Gabe and Florence were married. Assistants. And this all seems very interesting to me. It's like, well, now I'm not accusing Florence of slowly poisoning Joe Turner. But I'm just saying, you know, this longtime friend of his, and then what, Florence is just like, well, I guess you're there, around a lot. We run a business, I guess. Like, what's that? He's almost dismissing it, going, hey, she was running things and gave.
Yeah, I wanna know the particulars about any life insurance policies that may have been taken out, any sort of. We got a widowmaker.
Yeah, what happened to Gabe? This is all very important to these two, because guess these are the two people, and we'll get to it, but these are the two people that sign away the arena and the Washington, D.C. territory to Vince McMahon, to Vince's father. And Washington, D.C. turns to New York, and then and then the dominoes fall. So we're back with Jess, though, father of Coast Guard Vince. In 1945, Jess McMahon is diversifying his interests. He's going into business with German-born promoter Fred Kirch, who was agent for the heavyweight boxing champion Max Schmeling in the 1930s. Okay, so McMahon and Kirch, they're promoting concerts in D.C. They're in there. And Jess eventually does not like to travel to D.C., right? Remember, he's a family man. Or was that his dad? I can't remember anymore. But he decides, look, I'm not going to D.C. You know who should take over my responsibilities in D.C.? My son Vince. Vincent James. So now Vincent James, he's not going to move to North Carolina. No, he's moving to Washington, D.C. in the middle of 1946. And you'll never believe this, but Vincent is an amazing networker. He's mingling, as Tim writes. He knew Gabe Menendez. He knew Joe Turner. And they hire him. Turner's Arena hires him. December 3rd, 1948, to be the general manager of the building. And he dives in, okay? He's working hours. He's booking shows. He's talking to the union. He's talking to the politicians. He's talking to the athletic groups. He's doing basketball games. He's doing the concerts. He's doing dances. He's holding 2 events a day. That's how many events he's booking. He's bringing in wrestlers from Toots, right? He knows Toots, so he's bringing in wrestlers from Toots. The old Manhattan booking agency, right? They start showing, let's see. He talks about Jim. So then Rudy Dusek in 1949 invades Washington, D.C. and holds a show at the Uline Arena. He even starts putting it on TV. Now we're back, so we throw that a little bit in there. Rudy Dusek's moving in on Vince's territory in D.C. Now, let's go back to New York. This is 10 months now, February 1949, after the Gorgeous George fiasco. Okay? They're going to try it again. December 12th, 1949. They got Rocca. They got Stanley. They got Primo. They got Cola. They got Lord Carlton. They got Jim Henry. They got Joe Savoldi. They're loading the show with all your faves. All the stars are here. And they got 18,000 people and a gate of $50,639.28. The largest garden wrestling attendance since 1931. And yes, after one show, Tim writes, wrestling was back.
What year is it? 48?
49. Beginning of
49.
49 February. Yep. So now Toots is like, well, Rock is like my guy then, right? They're drawing 16,000 in March, 14,000 again in May, and now we're into 1950. And he's working kind of a trio of. Now let me tell you if you can pick out what's different out of these three. He's got Rocca, he's got Carnera, and he's got Stanley. It seems like the Italians are the draw. But you know what Stanley's getting over is he's kind of got a, he's a big.
Rocco's not Italian.
Well, guess what? Stanley was the only man of those three that was not born in Italy.
Really? I thought
That's
he
what
was Argentinian.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Maybe you're thinking of Sardinian.
No, I wasn't.
But then, so New York is now considered the leader in growth of wrestling on television, but it's still Chicago's where it's at. Okay, all the TV stars are in Chicago. Okay, and that's because of a man named Frederick Koch. Frederick Koch, 47-year-old former wrestler who wrestled under the name Fred Kohler.
Rocca was an Italian naturalized Argentinian.
Oh, Tim. Tim's looking at you going, well, yeah, what does naturalized means? He's a natural Italian.
Here.
Fred Kohler, Windy City native, quote unquote. So he 1946 July. Kohler's introducing Chicago to grappling on TV. He's thinking about, you know what I'm thinking of? Picture quality. He's the tech guy. He wants it to look good. He's taking a serious interest in the production promotion of his wrestling TV programs. He's making friends with the guys over at WBKB, WENR, WGN, and the Dumont Network. He's got shows coming out of the Rainbow Arena, the Midway Arena, the Madison Athletic Club, a Saturday night event from the Marigold Arena. He's got monthly or bi-monthly shows coming out of the International Amphitheater that are live or tape delay. So, because he's got all these things going, these Chicago guys are being shown across the country. Now, these promoters in these other cities are going to want to book these guys, and so this is what Kohler does. He signs all his top guys to contracts that say, you know what? If you get booked out of town, I get a taste. Because I'm putting you on TV, my son. So outside of, so now, yeah, he's, technically he's the guy that's drawing in Boston and all these other cities. And he's surpassing even Toots Mondt, who, even though he's always portrayed as this bum, always seems to find himself in the middle of things. But yet, no, Fred Kohler now is number one guy in wrestling. And over in Los Angeles, you got Johnny Doyle, son of a newspaper man. He was also from Chicago. And he had been a subordinate, a lackey over in the Lou Darrow Toots Mondt Los Angeles group there. He's walking. I like that Tim out of nowhere goes, he made his bones as an assistant in several eastern cities. He even works under Ray Fabiani in Philadelphia. He's just gathering knowledge. He's like JR, he's learning. Oh, this is yes. Speaking about Kohler, the wrestlers and their whole thing of like, another middleman taking a cut out of my paycheck. I guess it's okay. Sure. Again, I point that to laziness because as we've seen, like with the Londos thing, they've all know the Londos story, I imagine, where it's like it just takes a guy going, no, I'll just get booked because I'm popular, and I'm not going to give you a share of the money. But everybody just always kind of goes along with it. Sure, yeah, okay. Doyle's teaming up with his old friend from Seattle, Musty Musgrave. And they buy the region from Nick Lutz, remember, who had gotten it from Toots. So we go Toots to Nick. How about this? Toots to Lutz to Doyle and Musty. Look at all these names.
Musty.
Doyle and Musgrave rebuild the territory. Doyle, he's a man about town. He's at all the popular late night spots, Tim says, in Hollywood. He's making friends. He's spending money. Life of the party. Quote, he routinely invited wrestlers back to his home for a hot meal with his family. Let's go over to the Brown Derby and then go have a hot meal.
The Doyles.
Yeah. Let's go eat a potato. Well, I guess he's from Chicago. So let's go eat a brat at home. You'll love my wife's brats. She makes a mean deep dish. So
I just want to get to Vince, Vincent James.
I literally, when we finally get to Vincent James, or when we actually get to like the dominoes coming together, like the start of the, I don't know what just fell. It was loud. The start of the McMahon dynasty. I mark the page and go, okay, well, I'll tell you, it's almost the halfway point. We're almost there. And then he's got about a little over 100 pages to get from 1955 to 1984. So this book, I have a theory, this book is going to book it all of a sudden. It's going to be like, yeah, Bruno. Yeah, moving on. Yeah. To which I would say, Tim, maybe we didn't need so much about... I mean, we need to know who Toots is and where he kind of came from, I guess. But why not focus just on Toots if he's a major player? I'm about to look. There's a whole rant by me in there where it's like, so much of this book devoted to listing wrestlers on a card. What are we doing? I thought we were learning about how the McMahons built a dynasty. So Doyle's going to consolidate power, right? So he's going to kind of do. He's going to make an agreement in 1950 with the Cal Eaton, Hugh Nichols, of all these guys that run these arenas, right? So now the Doyle Syndicate, as Tim calls it, they've got the television, they've got the talent, they've got their connections to the NWA, which now, at this point, the NWA is now the alliance, not the association. They have basically co-opted everybody.
And the Doyles are L.A., you're saying?
Yeah, they're in L.A., and they're not in it yet, I don't believe, but they're connected to it. Anybody that would come in to try and like run a show or do a promotion, if they say, hey, look, if you're wrestlers, show up on that. I guess they are. They're considered an affiliate of the NWA. You're gonna get blacklisted if you do that show. They got their political connections. They've got the ear of the governor's office. And Tim writes, between 1948 and 1953, the Los Angeles office was the most fortified and successful wrestling organization in history. Now tell me if you've heard this. Television exposure turned many average grapplers into highly appreciated stars. Did you believe it?
Mm-hmm.
TV makes it easy for them to build up people, guys that nobody's ever seen before. And
I
they
thought
hey,
Val Venus was a star.
there you go. He's a perfect example.
You didn't see his work in CMLL?
That's what I was going to say. It legitimized him to me. I'm like, this fucking guy can work.
That's right. I forgot what his name was down there. It was something funny.
Just picturing a kid doing the towel thing in front of his parents. This is my favorite wrestler. Hello.
You guys ever do the towel thing?
I'm sure I have.
Not when impersonating Val Venus, just in my day-to-day.
Sure.
And I do the gyrations. You know.
He was Steel. That was his name in Steele.
Let's see, the post-war period, slew of former collegiate. Okay, so now also in the post-war period, JR is about to start salivating. A slew, Tim says, of former collegiate amateur wrestlers Tim writes, turned pro. You know, as you do. You turn pro. You go into pro wrestling. Mike DiBiase, Ray Gunkel, Leo Nomelini.
He's another football player, I believe.
Yes, I think we talk about him here. Let's see, but guess what? Ahead of all of them, the greatest of this class of former athlete turned pro, Vern Gagne. Gagne? What is it? I always get this.
Gagne.
Vern Gagne. Tim writes, the greatest newcomer on the wrestling scene since Lou Thez. Vern had it all.
He's in the Hall of Fame.
Tim writes that he was a promoter's dream, extremely marketable,
It's just
extraordinarily popular. And again, Tim writes, Gagne turned pro in 1949. What is it? What did it say? Oh, that was my note. Oh, I see what I wrote there. When he said Vern Gagne had a profound awareness, I wrote, of how much money was in your pocket. Got your ass, Tim. So he's 23. Vern is 23. Trained under Joe Stetcher and Joe Pazandak in Minneapolis. He goes through Vern's background. I don't care. NCAA was an alternate, etc., etc.
Not in the Olympics.
Not in the Olympics.
very much not.
Studied under Paul Bosch. Okay. Look, this is what Tim writes, ignoring his expanding fan base was an impossible chore. Right. Was someone trying to?
Sure, there were some smart marks who were over it.
A Vern fan at this time. We love our young, mature man. We are Legion. His profound awareness. So the NWA is growing, right? Tim hits us. First it was Falderall, but now Tim's going to hit us with, as a result of the cessation hostilities in St. Louis. I was like, you can just put end. The Lou. So the St. Louis stuff is over. Or as Tim writes, the Lou Thez Sam Muchnick peace accord. You've read history books. You know about that. You know about the Lou Thez Sam Muchnick peace accord.
Mm-hmm.
Now everybody's getting in line, right? Sam, baby, right? They're going to unify the title. It's going to be between Thez and Orville Brown. Brown, though, is injured before the bout, critically injured in a near-fatal car accident, forcibly retired. And so then it's just like, well, Thez is now the unanimous champion. I wonder if that had anything to do with the burying of the hatchet between Sam and Lou. It was like, what if you're just like the guy? Okay, you know what? Maybe I won't do a promotional war with you. So it's September 1950. And the NWA's got, now they're remember when New York was saying this is not a problem. Well, guess what? Now the NWA's got people in Honolulu. They've got people in Buffalo, Tim says. They're everywhere. But strange things are happening. So, alliance members were helping non-alliance members. In Chicago, no less, where Fred Kohler is there, and now Leonard Schwartz, owner of the Rainbow Arena. And again, this is another Tim. Where Kohler had severed ties with the Rainbow Arena over a personal dispute over the cost of the rent. So now Schwartz. And if you needed to know, yes, he's a 42-year-old property appraiser and businessman. He's like, well, I got the TV contract with the arena. I'll just do a wrestling show. Fuck Kohler. But then he's like, I don't know. I need wrestling people. So he looks to Jack Pfeffer. He ends up doing a deal with Al Haft, who is a member of the NWA. This is what they're talking about. This guy's not a member, but he's working with all these guys. These guys should be helping Kohler. He's a member. Mm-hmm. And it's one of those, all these rules until I guess it's not a rule. You just do whatever you want. I don't know why all these guys go back to the rules. Just do whatever you want. Let's see. So he's got a deal. And he can use Al Haft's superstars, okay? That includes, here we go, another list that we need. Ruffy, Silverstein, Bill Miller, Frankie Taliber, and a young Johnny Valentine. So, Kohler goes to the NWA. What the fuck is going on? And while he's doing this, Schwartz comes to terms with the Manhattan booking agency with Toots. And now the Rainbow Arena is going to be showcasing Rocca and Carnera and Stanley. And also Toots Mondt had recently aligned with Ray Fabiani out of Philadelphia, and also who's there? Jim Londos. And Londos goes to Chicago and wrestles for Schwartz. And Kohler's like, seriously, what the fuck is going? And then Toots Mondt gets approved for membership into the NWA in October 1950. And Kohler's going, what is this about? This guy doesn't even like us. What is he say? Okay, it says, for months, Mondt had blatantly scoffed at the alliance, almost mocking its purpose and potential. And I was like, almost? Did he or did he not? Give me something here of him mocking it. And then we find out, or then at this point, I tried to find out what Toots was, how he was mocking them. Maybe there's got to be something. And all I found out is that Farmer Brown, did we talk about this? Why his name is Toots?
No.
He trained under Farmer Brown, and Farmer Brown called him Toots either because he had small feet or he had a young face. Nobody knows.
That's dumb.
It has to be the small feet, right? His tootsies.
Yeah.
Farmer Brown was like, "You have little tootsies. Your name is now Toots." Okay, so now they're not helping him out with this Chicago thing with Leonard Schwartz. They're letting Mondt into the group, and so he's like, "What is this? Just some kind of social club? What are we doing here?" So he goes, "Look, either Toots and Haft have to stop supplying wrestlers to the Rainbow Arena, or I'm out." And they didn't do anything. So he said, "Okay, I resign." Tim's right in here. The NWA, there's a lot of egos running around, a lot of big personalities that we don't really ever hear about them. Anything they're doing, but Sam Muchnick is like, "Oh yeah, this is all gonna work." And this is where I wrote, "Boy, we get list after list of wrestlers. We need to know that Primo was on a card, but we can't get any details about all this politicking." Including this. Here we go. Muchnick understands that he needs all these guys. Because if any of these guys, like a Kohler, who does have TV contract and all that, if like any of them are a Toots Mondt, if any of them actually get some traction, they could rally and actually flip things. And then now his organization is fractured. It's all about just guys. They're either with you or they're against you. And it's always, as Larry was saying, it's precarious. It just takes like one guy. So Muchnick sets up a meeting in Chicago in February 1951, and he's like, "Let's get this worked out here, okay?" And vaguely, Tim writes about this meeting and that both Mondt and Kohler are satisfied with the new stipulations in place. And in certain areas, this is a sentence, in certain areas they'd agree to disagree, but generally they were connected in the spirit of camaraderie and making money. That's all the details you get on this meeting, that this is the meeting that solidifies the NWA. They had some disagreements. They had some agreements. Moving on. The NWA is still not really a thing in New York City. And that's because remember that state Muldoon and the state athletic commission? I think Muldoon is dead at this point. I don't know, but they're still on the whole thing of like, there can't be a world champion in New York. Okay. It's got to be legit. So it doesn't matter if Lustez goes up to New York, it doesn't matter. Okay. And quite frankly, in New York, they don't like that kind of thing. You know what they like? That comedy, the colorful characters. Give us those flashy guys. Toots and Dusick, right? In 1951, they're going, look, the NWA thing, that's a good idea, though. Because what that gives you is power over the wrestlers. If they don't follow the rules, if they're stepping out of line, you can be like, guess what? You're not going to be on any show anywhere. Okay, bud? And also, you get the ability of, if you've got the wrestlers, then you can push out anybody trying to start their own little organization or promotion. Okay? You get the power over the outsiders. You get the power over the wrestlers. This is a good idea. The Alliance, this is when I started thinking, Sam Muchnick wasn't mobbed up, huh? He didn't know anything. The Alliance only enlisted certified booking agents, okay? And once the territories were cordoned off and represented, that's it. That's set in stone. No outsiders. So now Mondt and Dusick, they're the New York region. And if you wanted talent, you had to go through them. Al Mayer challenged the NWA. Remember him? Old Toots' old partner there. Challenged the NWA's law by applying for his own membership. Promptly rejected. Remember the Johnsons? They're trying to book the shows for the Garden. They're outsiders though now. They're not acknowledged by the NWA. They're not certified. They're not getting any talent. So they leave wrestling. No wrestling in Madison Square Garden. But their nephew Bill, son of James Johnston, he tries in 1951 to oppose the alliance. He declares 45-year-old Abe Coleman heavyweight champion. And he's going to try and get people together and go against them across the country. The problem is
Coleman.
Old man. Yeah, that's right. Abe Old Man. Abe Mole Man.
It's Coleman, right?
Yeah, it's Coleman. That's what I said.
Oh, okay, yeah.
He's 45. Old Abe. Problem is this. Okay, he wants to go. He's telling the paper, I'm going to go across this country and challenge the NWA. Problem is, the NWA has all the top talent. What he's got is Coleman, Lenny Montana, Ivan Gorky, and Lord Spears.
Lenny. Know Lenny.
Who's Lenny?
You don't know Lenny Montana?
I don't know any of these people. I mean,
he's
know
in The Godfather. He's Luca Brasi.
That's Lenny Montana. That's good. Well, he should have been an actor, just period. So they do a disappointing Yankee Stadium event that draws 11,300 people in July of 1950. And that's it. It's not until the roster's not there to do the shows and to return business. And they don't do another big show until 1952 in January, when the Garden does a wrestling show as a special benefit program for flood victims in Italy. And guess who's there? Charlie Johnston is there as the promoter. Of course, Toots is the big thread through this book is that Toots is like, I want to be involved in the Garden. I want to be in New York. They do another show, 9,000. It's Rocca and Carnera. NWA champion Luthez is there. Great. Well, guess what? Days after that program, Toots and his partners sell the Manhattan booking agency to 36-year-old Pedro Martinez. Not that Pedro Martinez. Pitching legend. They sell it to Pedro for $100,000. And this seems like a work from the start. Peter's like, God, I need somebody to manage this agency I just bought. What if I hire Toots? And I also give him my minority percentage in the company. I'll just try to hold him accountable. Okay? Guess what? Tim writes, Montz is still a gambler. And this would remain a problem. Someone had convinced Martinez that Mont has his head on straight. Quote unquote. So Pedro goes back to upstate New York to go, well, let the money roll in on this investment. Nope. Toots has got the purse. Money's flying out. And he also decides, well, this isn't my thing anymore. And his booking just kind of shitty. Whatever. So now attendance is going down in all these towns that the booking agency is responsible for. And within 6 months, Martinez sells 50% of his stock in the company. And he's like, well, maybe the Garden shows will turn it around. And, they do pretty good. 18,000 in November of 52, 11,000 in January of 53. But it's not happening. There's no traction in New York City. And so he sells the remaining shares of the company to Toots Mondt. Does this make sense to anybody? I mean, other than to Toots, who took this guy for a ride, it seems. Now we're back to Jess McMahon, and we're back. He's old now. Tim calls him the old maestro, even though he's kind of always just been lurking on the outside for the most part. Kind of always at the bottom. He's celebrating his 50th year and his 50th anniversary in promotions in the 1950s. He's just kind of a well-connected old guy now, In December 1952, his son, Vincent, he's in D.C. And for $60,000, that's what Vince bought the grappling rights to that city. Gabe and Florence. And that included the Turner Arena, sublease on Turner's Arena. McMahon also has silent partners, Nat Proctor, Philip Gray, and Charles O'Connell. And they're going to do weekly wrestling shows, baby. So, Tim claims that Vince McMahon, like his father Jess, what he's known for is honesty and integrity. And he books his first DC wrestling show, January 7th, 1953, with talent from Toots. And he's doing all kinds of, he's doing the variety show. He's doing Zebra Kid, Golden Terror, Sweetest Angel. Rocca's there, Gagne's there. McMahon's featuring women wrestlers from Billy Wolf. McMahon's using the Chicago TV stars. You got Hans Schmidt, Pat O'Connor, Ray Gunkel, Sonny Myers, Bob Orton, Art Nielsen. Yep. I'd love to get back to the McMahons, but Fred Kohler is supplying people with TV stars, and DC's part of that agreement. And this is where I wrote, is this important? In 52 and 53, there were many notable happenings in wrestling. Johnny Doyle brokered the sport's first $100,000 gate in 1952. Okay. Michael Leone is an Italian wrestler. Or no, he's from California, but he calls himself the Baron, and an Italian nobleman. He talks about them doing a gate of $103,000 at Gilmore Field in Hollywood. Beating Londos Lewis. Remember that? Okay. Lou Thez is a great champion, right? He's doing it all. He's going everywhere. Is any of this important? I don't know.
No.
Tim, tell me. He's kind of saying that without Lou Thez, the NWA, he gave them credibility by going everywhere. Well, a guy named Roy Dunn thinks differently. They're like, what if we have another guy that's NCAA, got national championship, credibility, and he's kind of like a regional champion. And this is a very labored way to get to. I even wrote what's happening right now. It's to get to the NWA being shady as hell. Okay. Basically, in Dallas, promoter Ed McLemore is using Dunn. Okay. he's in a like little war with the NWA. And what ends up happening is that Macklemore's home arena is burned to the ground in an arson attack. And people assume that it was because of him going against the NWA. Of Morris Seigel of Houston. So, and then this kind of goes, there's a lot of ugliness around the NWA. Then he talks about Billy Wolf, right? He's married to Mildred Burke. At one point, Burke goes, you know what? I'm over it. And Wolf is using his NWA membership to hinder her. She's thinking, well, you know what? I made all this money for these NWA guys. I'm going to split up. And I'll even buy Wolf out, right? She comes up with $30,000, pays him off. Part of the agreement is Wolf can't be in wrestling for 5 years, and she's going to be the person in charge of women's wrestling, okay? She's the new power. Except that Wolf just decides not to go along with the deal and takes the money and just goes back into wrestling. And all the guys go with him in the NWA. They don't go through her. She's left out in the cold. And she's shocked by this. That it's a boys' club, it turns out, in 1953. So this is all, like I said, and this goes to Sam, or poor Irvin is probably reading this about his uncle's organization, and that there's arson and people being boxed out. And what Tim kind of chalks it up to later is that all these little affiliates that are recognized by the NWA, they're left to their own look. They're doing their own thing. How they want to punish people or handle that's on them. And we're back to Vern. Vern's a national superstar in 1953, okay? And Fred Kohler in Chicago wants to reward Vern. He's going to give him his own little special title. And he's going to call it the United States Heavyweight title. And it's only going to be defended on the Saturday Night Dumont telecast. Got it? That pisses off Luthez. He's like, what the I'm the guy in the NWA, okay? I'm the world champion. So Thez complains to Muchnick. And Muchnick goes to Kohler and goes, you can't do this United States champion thing with Gagne. And Kohler doesn't budge. And he says, Vern's the rightful U.S. champion, a thing that he made up, by the way. He's dying on this hill. And he says, look, I'm not trying to step on Thez's feet, okay? I promote Thez. I agree. He's the world champion. So they have a meeting in Chicago, and the compromise is this. Look, you're going to call it the U.S. television title. Okay? All normal stuff. And it also, to me, is all these guys are always, a good thing is going, and then somebody tries to get a little slick with it. It's never enough. And then Tim goes into a thing of like, my God, Thez, Gagne, they'd wrestled, but not at this level when they both were on top. What if this? Why this could have happened? Why didn't this happen? And this is what he says. It didn't happen because Thez and maybe Muchnick, he writes in parentheses, disliked Kohler and Gagne because of this whole U.S. title thing. That Gagne was going around being billed as a title holder. Or maybe it's because Gagne was more popular than Lou, right? In certain cities. And Tim doesn't want to say that maybe Lou Thez was jealous, but there was some kind of bitterness, and it's like, give me the letters. Give me something here. Did you know that there was a secret ballot taken among NWA members to find out who would succeed Thez? And Gagne won hands down. And that also, he thinks, put into it that, look, Thez outright just did not want Gagne to become champion. And he didn't. And I'm sure Gagne never, ever got obsessed with the NWA title. And Tim likens this to them never pulling the trigger on Goldberg, Hollywood Hogan. That's the level he puts this at.
Wow.
That they could have made that much money. They just, because of what? Personality clashes, egos, never happened. And, Vern keeps being a star, right? He's even a bigger draw than Thez at Madison Square Garden. And then he writes at the very end, well, you know what? Wrestling's popularity starts to decline, and also the U.S. government is about to open a relentless investigation into the NWA's practices. So maybe it was better that Vern wasn't the guy during that. And that's how he leaves the chapter. And then we get some pictures. We got Toots staring down the barrel of the camera. We got Londos. We got Muldoon, Pfeffer, Jess, Buddy Rogers. Just everybody. Strangler Lewis, Bruno, Vince, Andre. And then guys that we're going to hear about later, Backlund, Morales. Anything to say as we wrap this up now, finally? And we move into, finally, Vince McMahon taking over Washington, D.C. for good.
No.
All right. The book is going to start moving. I promise you that. What we're going to get into next week, we're going to get into Vince McMahon is brought into a Senate hearing on juvenile delinquents.
This is state Senate?
No. A congressional hearing.
Wow.
Yep. They wanted. This is the same group that ends up in 1955 going after the comic book industry. They are concerned about the youth of America, and they bring in Vincent James McMahon. And what does he know about it? He does not bring up, I sent you his testimony. We will read it. And he does not bring up, I swear if I see this posted on Reddit, I'm going to get so fucking mad. He does not bring up his own juvenile delinquent that he has roaming around North Carolina. But yes, even still, I do write at one point, no, Tim, move forward. Do not go back. No, we do not need to circle back. Outside of that, I'm going to say something I rarely ever say. What is it? Not like and subscribe. What is it? Subscribe, review. And hey, if you review the show, can you write Kick Out Larry? Just put that in there. He's very sick.
I'm sick.
Just let's make it a bigger thing than it is. He had soup. He never
What the
had
fuck?
soup.
I had cancer and I didn't get a fucking kick out.
We thought Larry and I were like, is it even? We were like, let's not make this a thing. Gus is private about it. Let's not make a big to do about it. Fine, kick out. Put out kick out Larry, kick out Gus.
I already kicked out.
Kicked out.
I already kicked out. It's fine.
Write something. Make it very maudlin. Make it seem like when people read the reviews, they're like, are these guys okay? Are they going to survive? We just love that term so much. That's another part of it. Come on. We love it when guys talk about kicking out. Kick out, Rick. Kick out. Hogan's out karaoke. He's going to kick out.
Scott Hall.
Scott Hall.
That was the big one.
But yes, I'd like to see some fresh reviews. We haven't had a good one since the Rents Due.
And hey,
See?
apropos of nothing, why is DDP trying to gaslight us into getting Britt Baker back on TV?
Okay.
Because he's desperate for impressions and clicks.
That's so, like, you don't think that DDP, maybe he doesn't have Tony's number, but what is that? What's going on there with Britt that he's got to be like, well, one, he's just promoting his thing with Britt that he did, I don't know, a while ago. But just to be like, why isn't she on TV? I don't know. I mean, to me, it speaks to Tony's thing where he feels like if somebody's isn't into the creative or isn't into whatever and that they're gonna leave, he just ices them out. That seems to be his go-to.
Mm-hmm.
Just not gonna book you. And so, considering the last time he booked Britt, she went on television, started shouting, "Nobody cares! Nobody cares!" when he's trying to build a program. And granted, it was with Serena Dweeb. Shout out Pete, what a great guy. But that's also Tony was working with what he had. Now his women's roster, he's got Monet. Also, that was what a clunker, the Britt Baker Monet match. Ugh, no chemistry. Britt was top gal when the roster was shite, as Pete would say. Now it's not. They've got bodies. They've got people that they can have like little mid-card programs and what have you. Where does Britt fall in that? She's kind of in the Jade thing. Where does she go?
Mm-hmm.
Can she accept just kind of losing to Thekla? Who's she going to beat? Who are you putting her over? I guess you could do Sky Blue, but I'd say Sky Blue's more popular than Britt Baker at this point. She going to lose to Julia Hart? I mean, who do you put over, Britt Baker or Julia Hart?
I mean, Britt, Julia's
atrocious
in the ring. She's behind Britt.
Yeah, I'm genuinely asking. I mean, sure, okay. If you had said Julia Hart, I'd say okay. I don't. Where do you? I guess what's the? Mercedes got the TBS. Can't put her over there.
She's not above Willow.
You can't go put her over Willow. Did Britt go over Willow?
I'm just saying she's not. She's not better than Willow.
No, yeah, Willow's more over. Willow gets roars from the crowd.
We'll pass her.
Trying to think of one wrestler she can go over. She can't go over Megan Bain. Penelope Ford, I guess she could go over her, but she has probably already. She can't go over Chris.
Go for Queen.
Sure, that could go into Tony's thing where he beats somebody like a drum, and then he puts them. The next year they're racking up wins and titles. Sure, Queen can take a look, but then Queen's getting that back. Trying to think of who is the lowest person on the totem pole right now on their women's roster? Thunder Rosa.
Hey, they had a great couple matches.
Run it back, Britt Thunder, and then all that drama. Put it out on the screen. We love to have the wrestlers talk about their insider drama.
Is Britt or Alex Windsor going over?
I guess Britt would, but then Alex is going to get it back. Right now, that's Alex's role. Yeah, just taking, being a serviceable worker and taking losses. And her theme song, Windsor.
Mina Shirakawa or Britt?
Oh, Mina's going over.
Britt.
You want Britt?
You could. There's programs you can get her in, but the problem is you only have got like one women's match on.
Yeah, she's
Dynamite, 2 on Collision. Like,
Yeah.
That's 3 spots a week. Like,
Who knows if it's true, but her rep is that she just is not well received in the locker room. Wasn't that also a thing that it was like she had some kind of problem with MJF's gal?
Yeah.
Okay, which then Tony's going to his wedding and moving a entire show around it so he can be there. That's not going over, right? I guess she used to be friends with MJF, not so much. Like that's not good. Just doesn't sound like the locker room is the locker room's moved on.
Yeah. She's.
If you are to believe the scuttlebutt.
Yeah.
What's her beef with that girl?
What was it that she wasn't like adhering to locker room, protocol? It's like she's Kathy Kelly essentially. What are we doing?
Hardened veteran.
Yeah, she's
Dick Murdoch over here.
Yeah, she's on-screen person.
Wipe your boots on the ring apron.
You know who she used to be friends with, and she had to say, you know what? I was very disappointed in him. CM Punk brought her right back to the beginning. She, locker room's got rules. Locker room leader.
Yeah.
Did you see the NXT Twitter account called Rusev versus Obafemi a dream match?
Oh, it is.
Are you on NyQuil right now, Larry?
No, I had Dayquil, but
Okay. Not gonna do the NyQuil.
I took a whole dope rope, so.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Is that making you feel better or worse?
I measured it and took half, and then I'm like, you know what? I'm sick. I'm doing it. I'm taking that other half.
Oh boy. Now I've heard of rope-a-dope, but dope rope?
Yeah, it's just a long gummy rope.
Yeah.
It's
How many milligrams?
8 inches long. It's 200.
No, you said 8 inches is long. Okay.
Yeah.
What did you say? How many milligrams?
200.
I mean, I'm a little baby for that. So, 200, yeah. My God. Gus, what are you at right now? He's gonna be like 500.
No, I wish I hit. The
Oh.
problem is, I took 100. I don't even fucking feel it anymore. It
Oh
sucks.
no! Oh no! You got to keep going.
I can't afford to, and the problem is, I can only buy. They max you out at 800 milligrams per
Really?
trip.
They've got that.
I only need to go once a week.
That's lame.
Yeah, Colorado's kind of dumb with the gummies.
They flag you or something? Or like it's like when
Yeah.
you
You gotta get your
uh,
ID, and you only. Yeah.
I've had that happen on a where was it? No, I was buying liquor somewhere, and they're like, "You've already been here buying liquor." I got rung up, and I was like, "I'm okay." Didn't get as much as I wanted to. Nope, move it along. Well, there you go. You learned something. Wow, I'll wrap it up. Okay, goodbye.
Good night.
Good night. It's Wilson again. That was fun. I bet it was the best episode ever. You know what you can do to help the workers out? Rate, review, all that good stuff on whatever app you're listening to. Tell us how much you love us. If you want to contact us, it's theworkersclubshow@gmail.com. We got a YouTube, The Workers Club Podcast, a Blue Sky, theworkersclub.org, and we have a Discord where the invite link is left in various places. I'm sure you can find it. That's it. Thanks for listening. Appreciate it. Bye.
Smile and love each other.